Hello everybody, this is Jass and welcome. It's been a long time. So today it's a bit special. I'm not going to do any let's play or I'm not going to show any spaceship, but I will use my art skill to present you one of the concepts I have for an enemy in the game. So before I talk about my new race, I'm going to explain why I came to this idea and how. So in survival game we all know that we can use Gatling guns and sniper to get rid of any obstacles. First thing first, the Gatling turret is doing almost everything in terms of defenses. The Gatling turret is doing a good job to protect us against meteor storms. The Gatling turret is doing a good job to get rid of cyber dogs and spiders, while the sniper gun is pretty efficient to help us boarding place and hijack base. But what about the missiles? Missiles are pretty destructive in game and we have no real reason to use them. It's like wasting resources if we had to use them in any circumstances, at least for me. So as we know as well, Space Engineer is not very challenging, and I was asking myself, what should I do and what should we need to get the game more challenging and to invite us to use missiles in the game? Well, that's how the race of the Axeror came into play. That's how I call them. So this concept of race is pretty simple, to be honest. It's a very common concept of enemies you can find in a lot of science fiction movies and games. For me, I've been inspired by the mechanoids from Nexus, the Jupiter Incidents, the games, the RTS. You can also find this concept of aliens in Stargate and Star Trek as well. So what this thing does in Space Engineers? So let me explain. This guy is actually two different kind of units in the game. The first unit you're going to meet is pretty uncommon in the game. They must not be invasive in Space Engineers. They are uncommon, but when they appear you're going to be on your guards when it happens. So for example, let's say that after 2 hours of gameplay, the scout unit is going to appear. It's going to act exactly like a cargo ship. It's going to spawn, go to a straight line, and when it's out of range it's going to disappear, except if it detects your base or it detects you. This thing is going to attack you. The best thing to detect him is to use an antenna, so it's going to appear on your HUD. Otherwise, this thing is way too much stealthy to find him, to use your eyes to find him anyway. I mean, from his shape, form, size, and the color he uses. If you have a very black skybox, it's going to be very hard to find. So anyway, to find him, you use your antennas, and this thing is going to come to your base. Not too fast, but surely. When it gets here, it's going to, before it starts to attack, it needs to be at 700 meters distance to start to attack your base. And it's going to target two important things. The antennas, so it can get stealthy, and attack your defenses. The problem is if you have only Gatling guns are going to take a lot of damage before they can get rid of him. So the best way to protect yourself is to use missile turrets, because these things doesn't like explosion. And there we go. You're going to tell me, but just that's a bit easy to get rid of this guy. Well, depends. If you're out of your base and you are with your mining ship and you don't have any missiles with it, you're going to be in a big trouble when this thing is going to show up. And mostly it's going to be harder if you are out of range of your base radar, for example. You're not going to see him approach. Maybe you will have your antenna just showing that at 5 kilometers there is this little bastard coming for you, you know. So that gives a little bit of tense. It's giving the game this spicy ambience. You don't know where this focus is, and you're going to use antenna properly to detect this kind of enemy. And I found it pretty cool. But there is more. If you think you're safe in your base after a mini attack of scout units, there is a one that is going to appear that is going to force you to move your butt. This unit is called the siege unit, and as you may know from this name and definition, the siege unit has the size, has the power, and has the range to attack your base without any problem, and is going to be out of range of your defenses. So in terms of gameplay, to not be too cheaty and too OP about this spaceship, is that what it does is that first, it's a big ship, so it's not very agile when you attack him with a fighter, so you can get rid of him pretty quickly. Two, there is light all around him, so it's pretty easy to spot with your eyes. And three, these things need to charge its laser before shooting and destroying and blowing up everything around him. So that means you have the time to jump into a fighter and get rid of him. So yeah, the only big mistake you could do when you attack a siege unit is to use a destroyer against him, because this thing, when it's done loading his siege weapons, is going to target immediately your reactor of your ship. Well, maybe if you have multiple reactors, it could help, but we know what happens when a reactor explodes in Space Engineer, and I mean a big reactor. Of course, the siege unit has exactly the same kind of AI as the scout unit. It's just going to spawn, travel a bit, and then disappear when it's out of range. And maybe if it's a little bit too much easy, maybe it could spawn with some escort. And I believe the game will get very challenging at this point. If you don't want to see your base blowing up, you'll have to deal with them first. So here we go, that's what I've got. I think this is the best answer to the lack of challenge in Space Engineers, but also an answer to how we could use efficiently our missiles launcher and turret missiles in the game. Plus of that, when we think about it, it's not very complicated to do in 3D, and as well it sticks pretty well to the story of the game, the lore of the game, even if it's pretty small. I mean, remember the Monolith on the Moon and Mars in the game. So anyway, that's enough of me talking for the day, and I will see you next time on the next video, guys. See ya.